When the Five of Swords shows up in a reading, it's rarely a welcome sight. It's definitely one of the most challenging cards in the tarot deck, and it usually signals some kind of conflict and loss. But is that really the whole story? Today, we're going to look beyond that initial fear and really uncover the deeper wisdom that's hiding in this powerful card.
So what does it really mean when you pull this card? Is it just a bad omen, a sign of inevitable defeat? Or is there maybe a more complex message here about the real price of victory? Let's dive in and find out. Okay, so first things first, let's just address why this card has such a tough reputation. It's seen as this unwelcome guest, right? And that's because it deals directly with things like conflict, defeat, and deception. Three things most of us would, rather avoid. At its core, the Five of Swords is basically a warning sign. It often pops up when there's some serious conflict, hostility, or a really difficult change on the horizon. So that feeling of apprehension you get when you see it, it's valid. This card is telling you, hey, pay close attention to what's happening around you. Now, when this card appears upright, it explores this incredibly powerful theme, victory, that comes at a really high cost. This is all about those moments where you might win the battle, but in the end, you feel like you've actually lost the war. And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see the core duality of the card right here. When it's upright, you've got these themes of conflict, costly victory, and deception. But when you flip it, the energy shifts, dramatically, towards resolution, peace, and accountability. It's a huge contrast, and it's absolutely crucial for understanding its message. Let's just break these keywords down for a second. Yeah, okay, the upright card can definitely point to defeat, deception, and even bullying. But look closer. It also includes fighting back and hard-won victory. And this is so key. It suggests you have a choice here. You can be the one who surrenders, or you can be the one who fights for that victory, even if it comes at a price. So, to put it all together, the upright Five of Swords really acts as a warning. It can mean that some underhanded behavior is going on, leading to conflict or a defeat. But on the flip side, it can be a call to action, a sign that you need to stand up for yourself, to fight back, even though you know that victory is not going to come easy. But what happens when we flip the card? Well, the energy just completely shifts. When reversed, the Five of Swords starts moving away from all that open conflict and instead points us toward a path of peace and communication. Now, what's really interesting here is the range of possibilities. On one hand, the reverse keywords point to peaceful resolution, compromise, all good things. But then look at that last one, escalating violence. This tells us the reversed card isn't always positive. It can also be a final, really urgent warning. So when you see the Five of Swords reversed, it's kind of like a fork in the road. It can be a really good omen, signaling that the conflict is ending and you're finally ready to move on. Or it can be a warning that tensions are about to boil over, or that some hidden deception is about to get exposed, leading to some serious remorse and public shame for whoever's guilty. All right, so we get the general energy of the card, but how does this conflict actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Let's take a look at what it means when it pops up in the context of love, career, and our health. In a love reading, well, there's no sugarcoating it. The upright Five of Swords is a tough one. It points to arguments, hostility, and a really painful breakdown in communication. And since it's a card of deception, it can also be a warning about infidelity or other betrayals that could ultimately lead to a separation. And listen, in its most extreme interpretation, this card is a serious, serious red flag. If you're in a relationship where you feel intimidated, bullied, or you're experiencing abuse, this card is an urgent message to recognize the danger you are in and to please reach out for support. Now, when it's reversed in a love reading, there's a real opportunity for healing. Couples might finally be able to end the fighting and learn to compromise. The other side of that coin, though, is that it can mean secrets are about to come out. If there's been cheating, this card suggests it's all about to be exposed, and often very publicly. In a career context, this card points to a toxic work environment. And we're not just talking about disagreements here. This could be serious bullying, harassment, or someone literally sabotaging your work behind your back. It's the kind of conflict that leaves you feeling just utterly defeated and wanting to quit. But the Five of Swords also kind of forces us to look in the mirror. Because this is a card of self-sabotage, it's worth asking yourself, are you maybe even unintentionally contributing to the hostility? It's a prompt to really examine your own role in the whole situation.
When it comes to health, this card often shows up when you're feeling completely battle-weary. The stress from an ongoing conflict or an illness has just totally drained your energy. It's also a strong warning against self-sabotaging behaviors, things like using drugs or alcohol as a way to cope.
So, after all that difficulty, what's the point? This brings us to our last section, the spiritual lesson of this card. It's about finding the wisdom of a warrior, not by avoiding battles, but by actually learning from them.
The ultimate message here is really one of transformation. The very challenges that this card represents, the conflicts, the defeats, all of it, are what ultimately forge your wisdom, your strength, and your empathy. It's through surviving these battles that you gain the ability to heal not just yourself, but others too.
And this really lays out the path so clearly. The card asks you, first, to confront the conflict, not run from it. Second, to reflect and really learn the lesson it's trying to teach you. And finally, to integrate that lesson and come out the other side with greater strength. It's all about turning a painful experience into a source of real power. So we'll end with this question. The Five of Swords isn't just about the fight itself. It's about the aftermath. It asks you to reflect. After the battle is over, what have you learned? What have you learned about the situation, about other people, and most importantly, about yourself? Because that right there is the real victory.